Well, you've teased all these people earlier at the beginning of how we met.
So my ag teacher was pretty impressed with my lack of attendance at my show stall. I was with Carl Whitworth, who ended up being my college roommate later on. We were running around doing everything but what we were supposed to be doing. He leaves because he shows sheep. He finished a couple days before the steer guys finished. He leaves. I go back to my stall for the first time in the whole time. And lo and behold, Sarah is on the same aisle. I haven't seen her yet. I'm crashed out on my show box, and my ag teacher, Warren Beard, comes by and he says, "Hey, I've been looking for you. There's a girl that's stalled right here, $10. You can't get her number." I said, "I'm not taking this bet. I have to see her first." It wasn't 10 minutes come by, and there's a group of girls kind of locked arms, and they're walking down the aisle. And I said, hey, if it's the one on the end, I'm in on the bet. And he said, that's her. And I was like, hey, I'm all in. And although I have some confidence, I spent at least an hour and a half walking by,
with his water bucket,
scoping out the situation with my water bucket, pretending like I was getting water at the end of the aisle.
I was
checking
calf.
for boyfriends, checking for dads, and whenever all that was clear, I was still checking. I was calling my buddies, the Carnleys, because they always have good pickup lines, and they were not coming through that day. There was nothing good enough to get this girl, and then she disappeared.
And then you see me.
And I see you on a show box surrounded by 15 guys. And I'm like, there's the boyfriend, one of them. And you see me.
Yes, I do.
And you get up.
How could I miss you? You'd already walked past my stall 20 times.
And you get up and you walk in front of me and you look back to make sure I'm still coming. I'm like, oh my gosh, this might actually happen. And Stacy Caffey, who was walking with me, he tapped me on the chest, said, "Go get it, big dog." And he disappears. And now I'm like, and the famous line is, you dropped the worm.
Drop the worm.
You're playing with that little thing they were selling this year.
And that was the toy of the Houston Stock Show. That
fuzzy worm on the fishing line. It looked like it'd go crawl through your hands, but it was tied to fishing line. Yeah. You dropped it, and then you did the old Beyonce, pick it down.
I did not do that.
Pick it up off the ground, look back at me. And I was like, you dropped your worm. And so that pickup line got the girl.
Yeah. I was wanting you to pick it up. Why did I have to pick it up?
I wanted to watch you pick it up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I said, "What's your name?" You said, "I'm Sarah." And you had this West Texas accent, and I was all in, all done from that moment.
Keep in mind that he likes to say that he had game, but I had to come up with that whole scheme in my head of dropping the worm,
If you're standing at the line at a stock show trying to get you a Fort Worth cinnamon roll, and some kid that you don't know comes up to you and says, "Mr. Horn, I want to be like you. What can I do? How can I want to do what you do?" What would you tell that kid?
Ooh, without a doubt, you need to be careful what you pray for, wish for, and ask for, because he can and will provide. I school on the young generation enough, and they know how I feel about it. And that's why I struggle. And when you ask me about this interview, I said, we don't feel like we're worthy. And you go, well, who is? And I don't know, but I don't know if we are, So I think you got to be faithful to the Lord and know. I mean, I think I get most of this because I don't understand a lot of things intelligence-wise, but I do understand that. If you, and that's just, I am different. He made me different because of that. I don't have trust issues on so many things. And I'm so blessed with that, to have a God that we serve that's that way, and a wife that is as much the rock as Brecky is. So what else do you really have to worry about? Yeah. That's raised our kids. I mean, she did the raising. There's no two ways about it, because she knew I wasn't strong enough. As strong as I am on so many other things, I was terrible at that. And she was so good at that. So, I mean, it all starts with having faith and believing that you can become this. And you hear these professional athletes, don't stop dreaming, don't stop working, it'll happen. I mean, hey, it's easy to look at that and go, yeah, that's right, whatever. But it's truth. It requires a ton of work and a ton of passion. But if you're passionate for something and you're willing to work for it, God's willing to provide it for you. There's no doubt in my mind. If you have good things in mind to do with it, no doubt about it. If you're trying to do it for the right reasons, good things will happen.
I think that I would tell them to choose wisely for your spouse and who you surround yourself with, because it's so important who your people are, who your team is. We complement each other very well. I'm organized, he's not. He's soft-hearted, I'm not. We complement each other, but then at the same time, we're both very passionate. We're both hard workers. We both have similar backgrounds. We both were raised by ag teachers. We were both middle children, so yes, we feel sorry for ourselves. There's so many things we have in common. We were both athletes in high school and college and had the ag background, all this stuff. And so I think that when you find your person, or you are looking for your person, you need to choose wisely, because if he would have ended up with someone else, or if I would have ended up with someone else, our paths would be totally different. I don't know what I would be doing.
Why were we created? And ultimately, God created us for relationship. First and foremost, with Him. He created us so we could give Him authentic worship, to praise Him for who He is. And then secondly, He created us for relationship with each other. Right. And so that is distilled in us, like it's in our DNA. And so we wonder why we're at this state of ickiness of where we are because of technology and phones, that we have totally abandoned relationship. Everybody's just in this depressed state. It's because we're not feeding that part of our DNA, you know? So that was part of the...
And it feels so good whenever you're in those moments.
Oh,
like at
for
y'all's
sure.
Sale, with the worship going on, it was just an incredible moment.
Yeah, no, because it's a part of us,
how we
you know?
wired.
When it's right, it's how we're wired. So this first leap of just, you know, doing this thing, hauled them down to Caldwell that first year. And
we had no idea we were going to lose your grandpa.
Yeah.
So we committed to it.
My grandpa
And he
passed
wasn't
that May,
feeling
and
well.
our sale was first Saturday in June. And we get down there. And like I said, I am the worst salesman ever. You know, we kind of try to do promotion stuff, but I'm not a cold call kind of guy. Yeah. I'm going to give my buddy Ferris a plug here. I was at his house the other day, and he called it dialing for dollars. You know, I don't dial for dollars, you know. And so I didn't know if anybody would show up, and we're sitting up there, and I mean, just the amount of effort and work it was to haul 68 cows and an operation 5 hours from home, the labor it took, and just it was a lot, you know, to get there, and not very many people showed up. And you want to talk about a gut-wrenching feeling. And that's where I got to sit on the block and see how awesome that tool of CCI was. And we come home and we sold all of our cows. We averaged more than I ever possibly would imagine that we would average. Yeah. And it was just like, how did we do that? There was nobody here. Yeah. And so we get home, and I just look at Karen, and I was like, we're doing it in our backyard. Like, that's what we're doing. God blessed us with this place. He has called us to be hospitable, to show hospitality. So we're going to use what God has given us.
Good catfish.
Cook some catfish, build relationship. And so that you know, that's where, and even that next year, and I know it takes time to build on something and you know, to get it stabilized and established. But that next year, I remember, like, literally, and I mean, I'm just throwing it all out there, being vulnerable. I think we had 7 or 8 on-site registered buyers. We sold every one of them and increased our average. And it was just like, okay, we're doing something right. We're doing something right. And then as you've seen this year, I mean, tent was full, people everywhere, having a great time, kids swimming, jumping on a jump house, in and out of the house. I mean, it had a good feel, you know, and that was the vision that God gave me of, this is what we're going to do with this. You know, and
it was family friendly.
For sure.
Kids welcome.